Alright, so I finished up the Atom Bomb 150. It went together quite nicely. I ended up just throwing an Aero Micro Pro on here for a couple reasons. One being it is only $20 and I'm not rich, so I can't afford to spend a lot of money on this. Yeah, so I bought the frame and the camera and the VTX and the antenna and the receiver. Dang, a lot more than I thought, actually. So you add that up, let's see, 15, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, I spent like probably $100 of my own money on this. And that's kind of around where I wanted to keep it at. So yeah, I guess for anybody that wants a different camera, whoever wins this, you can buy one, buy one and put it in. But I figured everybody likes the Aero. I like the Aero. I love the Aero. I use it in most of my quads. I mean, there's only a couple, one or two that I'll spend the 30-40 bucks on a nice camera, because I don't know about anybody else, but these cameras don't last forever. They break easily and they are expensive, so anyway, so I threw the Aero on there. I threw on a XM Plus and I flashed it so it has RSSI. So I'm hoping that whoever wins uses FrSky. That would be very nice for me to be able to just leave it how it is and ship it off. But if it's something else, then I'll have to just tear it down and put something else in. But I needed to put that XM Plus in there because I need to fly this thing. Man, that came out perfect. That button for the VTX is right there. That's pretty nice. So yeah, that's the AKK FX3. And then, of course, there is the Hobbywing F4 stack in there with the 20 amp 4-in-1, the F4 flight controller. And then the XM Plus I got right there. You can see it on the bottom. The bind button's right there too. So very easy to bind. I did put an LED on here too, but it's not turning on, so I need to figure out why. It probably just doesn't work. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm going to be flying this. I want to test out the stack. So there was a couple things that I wanted to test out with the stack. The first thing was I wanted to see how easy it was to put together and solder up and all that stuff. And then the other thing was I wanted to fly it and see how the flight controller does and how the ESCs stand up to these motors, I'm sure these aren't going to draw more than 20 amps. That's almost a guarantee, especially on 3S, for sure on 3S. But I am going to test it on 4S as well. So, as far as soldering it up, I wish I would have done some video with the top off. I'm not going to take it back off, but it was very easy to solder. Like when I showed the flight controller, it has pads only on two sides of it, and that was when it's facing the right way. It's this side right here and the front. So the camera VTX stuff was right here on the side up front, and then the receiver stuff was across the front. So it was really easy to wire up and run the wires and all that. I wish I could show the stack. You might be able to see it kind of through the side hole there. The flight controller and the ESCs are real close to each other. I mean, it went together so perfectly. I mean, you can see there's only about 2 millimeters before the stack hits the top plate. So it was a perfect height. I used the rubber O-rings that they give you, that Hobbywing gives you, for in between the 4-in-1 and the flight controller. And then I used my own rubber grommets for underneath the 4-in-1. And then I just used some little M2 standoffs on top of the flight controller for the VTX. So it's pretty well isolated from vibrations. And then you also got this for the motors, you know, so it's flying real smooth. I mean, I only hovered it so far. I just test hovered it, and I just got done flashing Betaflight 3.5 on it, and it was just crazy smooth, like really, really smooth. I had to adjust the PIDs a little bit. I just lowered P a little bit. I think that was the only thing I changed so far, and it's just flying really, really smooth. So yeah, I guess the next video I do will be some DVR of me flying this thing. It probably won't be today because it started raining today, but hopefully tomorrow or something. I haven't even checked what the weather looks like. Let's check. Oh, we got rain today and tomorrow. Probably Monday I'll fly it. And then I'll fly it on 3S, and then I'll do a separate video flying it on 4S. And then I'll talk a little bit about my experience flying it, and then I'll give this away to somebody. I'm pretty happy to be giving this away to somebody. I'm really, really hoping that it goes to somebody that, you know, is gonna love it and fly it and be happy with it, because it's a pretty cool quad. It's not heavy, but for what it is, it's a good weight. But it weighs 135 grams, I think, and that's actually a pretty good weight for having 1306 motors on it and stuff. So it was under 200 with the battery, 653S. So yeah, pretty good weight. I love these antenna tubes. They're never gonna break. It's awesome. And this too. This thing's gonna take a beating. The frame itself can take a beating. It's gonna be a tough little quad. I'm really happy with the skirting. And for anybody that doesn't know, if you don't, you know, see my Instagram or my Facebook posts, the files for the skirt and the arm protectors are on Thingiverse now, and I'll try to leave a link in this video for those. Yeah, I think that's about all I got. Got a buzzer in there. I did hook up the smart audio from the AKK FX3. Man, I really like this VTX. It is really nice. I ended up taking all the wires, the stock wires, off of it. That's pretty nice that they add the wires, you know, stock. It's pretty awesome, but they were a little bit thicker than I like to use. You know, when you got the thicker wires like that, it's harder to, you know, bend them around and bunch them together and stuff. It just takes up more room and it's heavier and whatnot. So I just took all those off and used real thin wires, like the same wires that are on the camera. So that's about it. Yeah, it's a nice simple build, and it's gonna fly awesome for whoever gets it. So I guess I'll arm it real quick. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah. Those motors are so smooth. I love them. Alright,